just wanted to tell you, Officer Brown, I mean, you're taking money out of my kids' mouths.
Sorry.
Or you're taking fruit out of my kids' mouths.
Like I said, we believe right now that this is drug proceeds, illicit currency.
Well, I'm going to prove to you that it's not.
Perfect.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Around 11 a.m. on February 19th, 2021, Steve was driving from Texas to California to visit his two daughters. As he was passing through Nevada Highway Patrol Trooper Brown noticed that Steve's vehicle was following too closely behind a tanker truck. Although he was driving well below the speed limit, but there are still safety hazards. So the officer turned on his lights and pulled Steve over. Let's take a look at Officer Brown's bodycam footage. I'm State Trooper Brown. How are you doing? I'm good. The reason I pulled you over is we're doing this educational thing. We're educating drivers on violations they may not even be aware of, because we've seen a marked increase in traffic accidents recently. First, I want to commend your driving. You're doing a great job. You're driving slowly and trying to stay under the speed limit, which I think is excellent. I just wanted to talk to you about your following distance, especially around commercial vehicles. You were following that tanker truck a little too closely before you changed lanes. I was behind you on your left, slowing down to give you space to get over, because sometimes people will block you when you're trying to change lanes. Yes, sometimes you want to change lanes, but the cars in the other lane can be quite fast. Yes, you're right. You need to be extra careful in that kind of situation. But you were too close to the car in front before you overtook it, okay? When you passed the semi-truck and merged back in front of it, you were too close. You were probably less than a second away from the semi. If something unexpected happened, the semi-truck behind you definitely wouldn't have time to react and would hit you. We've seen similar accidents, so we want to educate drivers about safety. Do you have a driver's license? Of course. Great. I really appreciate you taking the time to go over these safety tips with me. No problem. Do you have your vehicle registration? It's a rental. If you don't mind, can I grab it from under? Sure. Are there any weapons in the vehicle? No. Very good. Go ahead. It's fine. Where are you coming from? Texas. What brings you all the way out here? My daughter lives around here. Okay, in Reno? Where exactly? They live in Portola, California. I'm spending the weekend with them. Okay. And when are you heading back to Texas? In 2 days. Or rather, a day and a half. Okay, I understand. Very good. Please step out of the car and cooperate with my investigation. If the information is accurate, you'll be released shortly. It's a bit cold outside. You can put on your jacket. I don't need it. Are you sure? The temperature is quite low. I know it's cold in Texas right now. Ha ha ha. Come on out. You don't have any weapons on you, do you? No. Should I turn off my car? Doesn't matter. Up to you. The officer asked Steve to step out of the vehicle for further investigation. You said your daughter lives in Potrero? I have 2 daughters. Okay. Do they both live in Potrero? Yes. Come here. Okay. Are you a boxer? A boxer? You're wearing a tap-out shirt. I do train a lot. I was in the Marine Corps. The officer just mentioned Tap-Out is the world's largest MMA merchandise distributor. It's one of the leading brands in sportswear and fitness culture. And Steve also mentioned at this time that he had served in the US Marine Corps. Okay. Very good. What did you do in the military? I started as a data manager. Then they made me the cybersecurity manager. When were you discharged? About 2 years ago. Okay, what does your daughter do? What does my daughter do? Oh, they're 13 and 15. Oh, I see. They are still young. Yes. I recently moved to Texas. Now I'm looking for a place closer to my kids. Okay, cooperate and stand over here. Have you ever been processed by law enforcement? No. Okay, we see that the officer appears to be making casual small talk with Steve. Asking him many questions unrelated to the traffic stop is actually using this series of questions to indirectly verify the truthfulness and consistency of Steve's statements. While I was verifying the information, I just wanted to let you know. My job also includes interdicting contraband on the highways. I'm looking for suspects involved in transnational smuggling through Nevada. Contraband includes weapons, people, drugs, illegal cash, and so on. Is there anything in the vehicle I should be aware of beforehand? No. Okay. No guns, bombs, anything like that? Okay. Are there any drugs in the car, like cocaine? I don't do drugs. You think I have to ask these ridiculous questions, right? No, I don't do drugs, and I don't transport firearms or ammunition. Okay. Is there a large amount of US currency in the vehicle? Yes. Okay. How much cash do you consider a large amount? More than 10,000 US dollars. Yes. Okay. How much money do you have in your car? Okay. Okay. I don't trust banks, so I understand. Will you allow me to search your vehicle today? Yes. Are you okay with this? When the officer asked Steve if he had a large amount of cash in the car, Steve readily admitted it and said he agreed to let the officer search his vehicle further. Very good. This is a consent to search form. Signing this means you agree to let the police search your vehicle, because I have nothing to hide from you. Thank you for your understanding. Please read this carefully. If you agree to everything, please sign your name. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. After Steve signed the consent form allowing the police to search his car, the officers began a thorough search. We see in the trunk of the vehicle, inside a military backpack, officers indeed discovered a large amount of cash. All the cash was inside a sealed food storage bag. Police also found a suspicious BMW wheel and tire in the trunk. Did you find anything suspicious? That wheel is damaged. If you check the phone in my car and look at my last dial call, just redial it. I won't even touch my phone. You'll find there's a shop in Reno that specializes in repairing damaged wheels. They'll answer and confirm that I was about to get this damaged wheel fixed. I damaged it in Texas. It was snowing heavily. The road conditions were terrible. There were potholes everywhere. I know there's a place around here that specializes in fixing this, so I brought the wheel. That's why I have this wheel with me. Thank you for the explanation. There are also some receipts inside. As he just said, there are some receipts inside that prove the source of this money. As the officer just said, sealed along with the cash was a stack of bank receipts, clearly documenting every withdrawal Steve made from the bank. Okay, so here's the thing. I think you're a good guy. I'm a good guy. How much is in there total? 100,000. You know, I'm a veteran too. He is, you are. Carrying a large amount of cash isn't illegal. No, it's perfectly legal. But it does make us wonder why he'd be carrying so much cash. I understand your explanation. You don't trust banks, especially these days. I've been saving. What was that? I've been saving up. So, I need you to walk me through this money again. I know you have a lot of bank receipts in there. I just want to make sure this money of yours isn't involved in any illegal activity like money laundering. Illegal activity like money laundering is what we're trying to rule out here. That money is for my 2 daughters. Okay, are you going over there this time to give them this money, or this money belongs to me and my 2 daughters, no one else? I use that money to buy them things, take them out to eat, buy them clothes. Good. This is me, looking you in the eye, between 2 men, telling you what that money really is. Very good. Later we learned, 39-year-old Steve served 16 years in the US Marines and retired 2 years ago. He worked as a data security manager at a hospital. During the pandemic, Steve was laid off a few months ago and moved back in with his parents in Texas to take care of them. Every month, Steve drives from Lubbock, Texas, to Petaluma, California, to visit his 2 daughters who live with his ex-wife. I have a few more questions for you. I hope you'll cooperate. I've been honest with you. Thank you very much. Give me a few seconds. I'll make a few calls and look at these receipts. As long as you can prove this is your money, you can go. You can call the bank, call Bank of America, and ask them who the account holder is. I believe you, but I need to do my job. My supervisor needs to see me follow procedure. I need to pick up my daughter in Portola by 4 p.m., so can you hurry this up? We'll definitely get you there by 4. No problem. Thank you, officer. That's great. Thanks for your cooperation. Officer Brown then called the sergeant and informed him about the case. Okay, I'm waiting for Sean now to see if he can come over. This case is both suspicious and not suspicious. He consented to a search, said there was a large amount of cash in the car, and we subsequently found about $100,000. The cash was in Ziploc bags. There are also some bank receipts inside. I haven't looked at them closely yet. The receipts show that he withdrew the cash from an ATM himself. Hold on, Sean's calling back. And before this phone call, the officers had already contacted Officer Sean at the DEA. After receiving the call, the captain immediately rushed to the crime scene. Just then, Sean from the DEA called. Hey Sean, how are you? Hey Captain, I just wanted to apologize. I really can't make it today. No worries, buddy, I just arrived. So I definitely won't make it today. It's okay. Seizure's easy to do. The ad optio the sergeant's referring to means that if law enforcement suspects a suspect's cash and assets are related to some criminal activity, they can legally seize the cash and assets without any substantial evidence. A federal program called equitable sharing encourages state and local law enforcement to turn over seized cash assets to federal agencies. In this case, the DEA, if the original owner of the cash can't prove its legitimacy to the federal agency within a specified time frame, then the seized cash, it goes directly to the federal agencies, and ultimately, the federal agencies under the equitable sharing program will return about 80% of the seizure back to the state or local law enforcement agencies that were involved. I'm just calling to let you know about the seizure. I'll text you in a few hours to let you know the total amount seized. Okay. I'm so sorry, I can't make it today. I didn't expect your call on a Friday. Again, I'm sorry. I will follow up on this seizure later. Okay, no problem. Thanks for calling back. I really appreciate it. Okay, goodbye. Officer Brown continued to question Steve about his basic information and the source of his cash. All right, what's the source of the cash you're carrying? You mean how I make money? I'm a retired US serviceman. I receive military retirement compensation. And I also earn some money from working. I previously worked in tea-related services at a hospital in California. RN. Next question, why are you carrying a large amount of cash? Excuse me, officer? Next question, why are you carrying a large amount of cash? It's not illegal to carry a large amount of cash. Of course. I keep my cash with me so I can ensure its safety. Okay, so the reason is for safety? For the safety of the cash? If I want to spend money, I can access it anytime. And with the money on me, I can guarantee its safety. I can see it at any time. Sip. Sip. I don't trust banks. That's why I have so much cash. I also keep a lot of receipts in case I'm asked about the source of this money. If anyone questions it, they can look at my receipt, see my account number, and know it's my money. The officer and Steve confirm the information. Especially in this day and age. After the investigation, the officer reports to the sergeant. Where's he from? He says he lives in Portola, California, moved to Texas a few months ago. And on weekends, he goes to Portola to see his daughter and then goes back to Texas. He said it was his life savings. He doesn't trust banks. I don't trust banks. That's completely unbelievable. We see, the superintendent doesn't buy Steve's "I don't trust banks" story. Yeah. He had a job. He doesn't now. He was recently laid off. He used to be an IT guy at a bank. Then why doesn't he trust banks? No, not a bank, a hospital IT guy. His receipts show he has for all 5 different banks. His receipts show he has for all 5 different banks. His receipts show he has for all 5 different banks. What do you think? I think it's strange that he carries so much cash, but this whole thing is strange, and the location of the money is strange too. Let's carefully analyze this together. The details of the exchange between the superintendent and the officer. The superintendent first asked the officer for his opinion on the case. The officer said, "While carrying such a large amount of cash is indeed a bit strange, but..." Before he could finish, the superintendent immediately interrupted him. And the way the cash was bagged wasn't standard. Not only couldn't he properly answer my questions, but he also had a bank receipt. And I want a K9 to sniff this money. Okay, he does have a receipt, the officer added. Everything. The sergeant interrupts the officer a second time and says he's going to use a drug dog to check the cash for drug residue. It's pretty clear. The officer thinks Steve's cash is legitimate and he should be allowed to go. But the sergeant thinks the opposite, doing everything he can to find a reason to seize the money. Although it's a bit strange, his explanation is consistent. But the things he said about visiting his daughter. The officer reiterated that what Steve said should all be true. However, the sergeant still didn't believe Steve's claim about driving so far to visit his daughter. The sergeant then took Steve's cash and put it in an open Ziploc bag and placed it some distance away from Steve's vehicle, about 30 meters into the grass. Let's see if the drug dog can pinpoint the location. Officer Brown opens the car door and grabs the leash, preparing to bring out the drug dog from the back seat. Where exactly did the sergeant place the money? Go ahead and sniff, buddy. The drug dog successfully located Steve's cash, proving it contains residue of illegal substances. Very good. The KN9 reacted. Then we'll proceed according to protocol. The officer informed the sergeant that the narcotics dog reacted. However, studies show that in the United States, approximately 90% of circulating currency contains traces of illicit substances. When drugs are consumed using cash during drug deals, or when large amounts of cash circulate within financial institutions, it can lead to traces of illicit substances on the surface of the banknotes. Therefore, in this case, the fact that the drug dog reacted to Steve's cash alone is not enough to prove that Steve was involved in illegal activities such as drug trafficking. However, it's sufficient grounds for the police to seize the cash. I think this money is related to a drug deal. The drug dog reacted to it. Suspected drug deal? Yes. Well, when the sergeant explained to Steve that he suspected the money was connected to drugs, Steve couldn't believe his ears. This happens a lot. We've seen people transport marijuana all the way from California to the East Coast. And some comes directly from Reno. Officer, I can tell you with 100% certainty right now. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen next. We're going to seize this money today, but that's not the end of it. This money will be turned over to the DEA. The DEA will contact you later. They'll tell you what to do. You have to provide your pay stubs. You have to provide bank statements, things like that. Okay? We'll give you all the contact information. Officer, if you take this money, I won't have a cent left for my daughter this weekend. I'll have nothing left. Don't you have a wallet? No, my coat's in the car. I won't have a single penny left. You don't have a wallet? Where do you keep your ID and things? It's in my jacket. Let me tell you, I swear to God, I'm a veteran. I have no reason to be involved in any drug-related illegal activities. That money is my life savings, for me and my 2 daughters. I respect your service to this country. I've seen cops transporting drugs, and they ended up in jail for it. But I'm not like them. So your status doesn't change the fact that we have to act on what we see. If this money was obtained legally, you need to provide proof, like pay stubs, to show that your money will be returned to you. But I suspect it's drug money. I can't say for sure right now, officer. I really can't. Then why did the drug dog react to the money? I don't know, officer. I don't do drugs. I don't do drugs, officer. Do you want to drug test me? I can do it right now. No problem. Do you even know what those drug dealers use? Of course, I don't. I'm just trying to let you know I don't have any money left for my daughter and me this weekend. I have to get back to Texas. If you take this money, I'll have nothing left. Steve stated that if his life savings were all seized, he would be left with nothing. I only have $7 cash in my pocket. I can't even afford the gas to keep driving. I earned this money. I can prove it. I will prove it. Okay. But I'm broke. What am I supposed to do? Well, I just saw your bank receipts. You have, like, 4 or 5 different banks. Do you want to see my bank accounts, officer? No. Officer, I don't have a penny left in my bank account. I'm telling you the truth. I don't keep my money in the bank. Because all my belongings are here. If you take that money and leave me here alone, I definitely won't be able to get home. I won't be able to stay in a hotel. I won't be able to take my daughter out to dinner this weekend. I won't be able to go back to Texas. Despite this, the police continued to seize the large sum of cash. Shen. Shong. He wanted to take a picture. Steve, completely exasperated, said that he insisted on taking a picture of the sealed cash. Do you want to write your name on the bag? Okay, I'll get you a pen. Do you want to take a picture with your name on the bag? I just want you to know, you're just doing your job. That money was really hard earned. I only have a few dollars in change in my coat. I don't have any money to feed my daughter right now. No money for a hotel, no money to get back to Texas. I know you're just doing your job. But I really don't know what to do now. You took all my money. So I'm probably stuck here. Unless someone sends me some money, I can't support my child or get back to Texas right now. I know you're just following orders, but did your superior tell you anything about what to do next with this case? Like I said, Officer Brown, you're taking this money right out of my kids' mouths. I'm sorry, you're taking food right out of their mouths. Like I said, we currently suspect this money is connected to drug trafficking, that it's illegal. I'll prove to you that it's not. Good. Before we part ways, I need to get all of your information. You'll get a receipt with everything you need on it. I need your sergeant's information, and the other officers too. EIP. Sir, this is the receipt for your confiscated cash. What's that officer's name? So this is all I have left? Yes, sir. Steve's $87,000 in cash instantly turned into a red seizure notice. You'll receive a notice like this in the mail. It'll be sent to the address you just provided. So, what do I need to do next? I'll hire a lawyer. Did my boss give you the DEA's contact information? The officer placed the sealed cash into the safe in the trunk. IGH Evad. Then they immediately took the cash to the bank. After this bodycam footage was released, many netizens condemned the police for forcibly seizing a civilian's life savings without any evidence. Netizens claimed Always remember to exercise your right to remain silent. Don't give the officers any unnecessary information, and don't consent to any random searches. Steve said afterward, he felt like he was robbed by a bunch of guys with badges. At the time, I didn't want to be labeled as uncooperative or combative. HA. I did what I thought I was supposed to do. KDA Ha. I was very honest, very forthcoming with information, and very respectful to the officers. I'm just trying to cooperate with them so I can see my kids as soon as possible. Federal law states that after seizing property, federal agencies have 6 months to file criminal charges against the owner or return the seized property in full if no evidence is found. However, 6 months goes by quickly. There was no evidence or indication that Steve was involved in any illegal activity. However, the DEA did not voluntarily return the seized property. Finally, on August 30th, 2021, Steve sued the federal agency, the DEA, in federal court, demanding the return of his seized $87,000. Upon learning that he was being sued, and that the Washington Post was also covering the case, the DEA swiftly, 1 day later, on the morning of September 1st, announced they would return all of Steve's seized $86,900. But Steve didn't stop there. He then sued the Nevada Highway Patrol in court, hoping to ban the practice of federal forfeiture adoption entirely, because it violates the state constitution. Seizure must be based on legitimate reasons and legal procedures, not on mere suspicion or self-interest. Steve was lucky, but many other seized people can't afford expensive lawyers and have no idea how to get their legal property back from the seizing agency, which severely impacts their lives. According to statistics, in 2019, through the Equitable Sharing Program, federal agencies shared over $334 million with local law enforcement agencies. From 2000 to 2019, federal agencies shared a total of reached a staggering $8.8 billion. I later became even more worried if this kind of thing could happen to me, a veteran. It could happen to anyone. Kanda H.